oh, she burnt the eggs and you want to divorce her, you can put her away. And God tolerated that, but from the beginning, it was not so.
Just because something in scripture is described doesn't necessarily mean that it was prescribed. So just because polygamy was described throughout scripture doesn't necessarily mean that God prescribed it. So God didn't endorse it just because we see it written out in scripture. It's almost like God tolerated it, which is why he gave laws out as to how to do polygamy. Kind of like with divorce, it's not what God wanted, but because of the hardness of people's hearts, he had to then put a law in place to show people how to go about it in the right way.
Yeah, it's like God's tolerance is not God's endorsement. Just because God is tolerating something doesn't necessarily mean he's endorsing that thing. So in the example that you just said now, there's an example to just back it up through scripture. Matthew 19:8, it says, and he said to them,
This is Jesus, right?
Yeah, this is Jesus speaking after the Pharisees asked him, well, why then did Moses command to give a certificate of divorce and put her away? Jesus says in verse 8, he said to them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, permitted you to divorce your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. So Jesus has clearly said here, obviously this is in relation to divorce, but Jesus has clearly said here that it was because of the hardness of your hearts. So God was almost tolerating this. He was tolerating, okay, you can put your wife away and divorce her.
Yeah.
Oh, she burnt the eggs and you want to divorce her, you can put her away. And God tolerated that, but from the beginning, it was not so. That's literally what God is saying. Yeah. So in the same way, we could link that to polygamy and say, God could have been tolerating it. But from the beginning, it was not so, because we know what God prescribed from the beginning.
Yeah.
From the beginning, God said, for this reason, the man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh.